Namaste, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Blooming Lotus Healing Channel. My name is Jikara, and I'm a spiritual healing facilitator and teacher. And I'm so excited to be back. I've been MIA for a long time now. I've been focusing on my health, like I've mentioned in previous videos. If you've been following this channel, I've been focusing on my health and making sure that I am in my best health possible so that I can show up for you. So today, I wanted to share a little bit about a specific thing that came up for me and also for different clients that I've been working with, and different things that were related to portals. And so today we're going to be talking about 5 ways you can be opening portals and you might not even know it. And I think it's important to talk about this topic because a lot of people are unaware of how everyday things can be potentially opening portals, and what can you do, right? Like if you want to know what to do to make sure that the portals are closed and that you don't have any open portals unknowingly, then you definitely want to stay tuned and continue watching this video. So, and I would love to, for you, if this is your first time here, we'd love for you to subscribe to this channel as well. If you feel like this work that I put out here on this channel is supportive of your own healing journey and your own spiritual journey, please be sure to share and like this video so that we can grow this channel and really share the love with everyone else. I wanted to share something today, a message from the Spirit of Psilocybin today. So I'm going to be pulling a card from my Oracle deck, Spirit of Psilocybin, and I wanted to share a message. So let's go ahead and see what Spirit of Psilocybin wants to share with us today. Today, I am recording this video on the full moon in Aquarius. Today is Monday, August the 19th. And so the message that is coming in here is really infused with that energy of Aquarian energy. And so I know I've been feeling the energies for this specific full moon. But even if you watch this later, just know that there's a reason why you are receiving this message. So don't feel like this is dated at all. Even though it is infused with that energy, just know that if you're listening to this and it resonates with you, then definitely take that message. So I'm going to pull a card from the Spirit of Psilocybin. So thank you, Spirit. I call upon you to help us and in our journey forward, connecting with the Aquarian energy. What messages do you have for us today? So I was going to pull a card, but 3 cards is what is coming through here. Okay, so I got 3 cards that came through. We got card number 37, the energy of 3, which is sacred, that sacred Trinity, and number 7 is the number of really what I see here is sacred knowledge, right? Like learning. So we have the energy of the cosmic mother, and I do have a video on womb healing. It's a meditation on womb healing, and this is what is really being called for us. And then this womb healing is really sacral healing, right? And so even if you are, a male or a female, we can still connect to the womb because we all come from the womb. We all come from that space. We're all connected to the womb, to our mothers. So connecting to that and healing anything in relationship to our connection with our mothers, especially here on this planet. So sometimes with a cosmic mother energy could be also a calling from the feminine energy from the cosmos that wants to connect with us. But here this feels more grounded, more physical, more 3D. So we want to make sure that we're connecting to our sacred sacral, and that connection of nourishment and compassion for ourselves, and really paying attention to where can we apply these maybe these parts of us that are feeling hurt. Where can we apply healing and attention and love and compassion in order for us to move forward in our path? The energy of the full moon in Aquarius is all about really looking at progression, right? And so what are the things that are showing up for you in relationship to progression, right? Progressing in your path that are holding you back. And here we have the energy of the cosmic mother coming through specifically for connection to our mother wounds, and really paying attention to that. We have the energy of 23. We have that three energy. The three energy is coming through here three times actually. So we have 333, which is the sacred trinity, and it's also about completion and integration. And so we have the energy of the rainbow, right? And so we have that two, which is the two is all about working um, working with other people. It could be also the when it comes down to our relationships and even couples. I'm also here in twin flame, so in relationship to twin flame as well. This could also be a part of this reading for you if you're also feeling that energy of your twin flame, which is something that's been coming through. I have a fellow practitioner who she's been mentioning how the energy, especially right now, has been really focused on really healing that twin flame connection. And so, but the energy of the rainbow, what this represents is, we get the rainbow right after the storm, right? And so when we go through all of this experience of release, especially with this full moon energy, we also have this essence of completion and blessings that come upon us when we integrate all of the lessons that we have recognized within ourselves, that we have learned. And so that energy of the rainbow is almost like that final gift that we receive from the universe when we come on the other side, when we come to the other side of the experience. And so the last one is inertia. And so thinking about where are you feeling resistance to change, right? Sometimes we need to be in that energy. Sometimes we need to be in that energy because it's important for us to move through something, and we are not going to move away from it until we recognize the things that we need to work on. So right now the message here is that if you've been feeling stuck, right, with this energy of, okay, I'm not progressing, I feel like I'm feeling stuck, I feel like I'm not moving forward, then you might want to go back right into that first card that I mentioned, that the mother wound, and also connecting to your sacral or the womb energy. And I will link the video on the description below on the womb healing meditation. I think this is a really perfect meditation for you to connect to, so that you can allow that energy to be released. And so change is coming, but the change is going to come when you take those actions, right? And when you take those actions, right, then you're going to see the results. You're going to see the incredible results after that. So that is what I have for this message. And so let's move into the conversation of the 5 ways, right, that you can be opening portals. And so I made my little list here because I wanted to make sure that I don't lose myself in conversation, because I can talk forever. And so, and as you know, if this is your first time connecting with this channel, I don't edit anything. I keep everything just as a flow of consciousness coming through. So everything that's coming through is just what you're going to hear. So anyway, so I hope that you're okay with that. So the first thing that we want to pay attention to whenever we are being conscious about opening portals, the first thing that you want to pay attention to is when you do any astral projection. So when you're doing astral projection, typically you're going to be in that state of on that dream state, right? A lot of times this can happen even in hypnotherapy. You could potentially be astrally projecting somewhere, or maybe when you're in that very deep meditation and you go into that very, very subtle space where you can start projecting your spirit, your energy out into different locations. You're actually opening a portal, right? The portal is being opened when you start projecting out your energy. So one thing I want to say is, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you are, before you even start practicing astral projection, that you call in protection before you start doing that projection. That's one thing that I recommend. The other thing that I would recommend for you, if you're someone that practices astral projection, is to make sure that when you come back, right, that you request that all portals are closed. There's nothing wrong with opening a portal and going to where you need to go. Shamans do this whenever they're going into their shamanic journeys. Even mediums and psychics can do this as well whenever they're seeking information, whenever someone is working in the records, if they're using any method. Really, you're opening a portal of connection to specific places and specific locations in the ethers. But then also when you're doing the astral projection, you're sort of like in this you're going into this in between space between the 3D and the 5D, right? And so we have the 4D. A lot of people say it could be the 4D, and if you feel like you're going somewhere else, make sure you put it in the comments below. I'd love to connect with you if you practice astral projection. And so that's the when you're going into those locations, right? There's a lot of different energies that are going to be present there. And a lot of times you could potentially bring something back, attachments or anything like that. I'm not saying this to scare anyone, but it's just, we got to be aware. We got to be aware that when we're going into the spirit world, the spirit realm, we're not living in a vacuum. We're not existing in a vacuum. We are definitely connecting to something, right? And so astral projection is a really powerful way that you can open a portal. So make sure that you're closing this portal, right? So if you've been practicing astral projection and you haven't been intentionally closing, right, your session, then you definitely want to start doing that starting now. The next one that can potentially be opening portals for you can be meditation. And a lot of people are like, how is this possible? Especially if you're doing, so there's different types of meditation. We have the meditations that are more, let's say, more grounded, where you're connecting to the body, but eventually it gets to the point where you can dissolve the body. And then eventually you'll enter into a portal of nothingness or oneness, right? And I personally haven't experienced this, but I know of other people that have, and I have attended Vipassana retreats to hear enough experiences from other people where they go into this state, especially when you're doing a retreat of 10 days. That could potentially be, and you already are very sensitive in the sense that you tend to go into the ethers very easily, then you could potentially open a portal in that moment. So it's important that you ground. Actually, one of the things that I really love about the Vipassana retreats is that they do chanting before you actually go into meditation. And the chanting, really what it really is, when I started researching the chanting, a lot of the chanting is protection and support from the Buddha, right? From the Buddha, which is all the Buddhas, all of who have gotten to enlightenment, which we could call that, masters and teachers and things of that nature. But anyway, so going back to what I was saying, when you're going into meditation, you could potentially open a portal. And then if you're not aware of this, if you're not, for example, creating sort of like a circle of protection, sort of like as a chanting at the beginning where it's a protective chanting, or just even setting the intention for protection, so that when you go into this space, you are, you're experiencing what you need to experience, right? You're going and you're receiving what you need to receive, because there's a purpose, right, for you to experience these things, right? There is a purpose for you to have that connection with these other realms, right? But then when you come back into the ethers, you want to make sure when you come back from the ethers into your body, then you want to make sure that you are closing that portal as well. So one of the things that I really loved about the Vipassana meditations was there is an opening chanting and a closing chanting. And so what does that do? It creates, when you're opening when you're opening your space for meditation, you're creating that sacred space for yourself, right? And then you go into your state of meditation, wherever that is, right? But especially for those of you who go into different realms when you are in meditation. Some people even astral project, like it could be like a combination of both, of meditation and astral projection, right? And so once you get out of that space, making sure that you're creating, again, a closing sort of very similar, right, to what I was mentioning with the astral projection. And it's going to be the same for everything, right? You want to make sure that you open and you close for all of these that I have on the list. The other thing that the other way that you can potentially open a portal is through drum journeys. So if you've ever been to participated in a circle, a drumming circle with a shaman or an elder, a lot of times people will gather for a drumming circle where the shaman will play the drums, and you then will be guided into a meditation where you will go into a state of trance with the sound of the drum. So it's another type of meditation, I guess, but that is typically intentionally opening portals to connect to your ancestors. Typically, you're going to be going into these drum journeys to connect to your ancestors, to receive answers, to receive any healing or any support from your ancestors. So you're definitely opening a portal, right, to connect with the spirit realm. And so when you are doing that, you are again, when you're in a circle with a shaman, they will open with a chanting or a prayer, and then at the end they will also close with a chanting and a prayer, so that will protect you. But you are going into a portal, you're opening a portal, right? And you're entering it, and with the support of a shaman, of course, you're entering this, or a curandero. You're entering this space, and then you're also exiting. But of course, you have that support of that practitioner who will support in the opening and the closing for you. Okay. But you are opening portals, so you want to make sure that if you're going to do anything like that at home, let's say you're inspired to go into a trance with the drum, you maybe get a drum for yourself and you want to start doing that for yourself, you want to make sure that you're following through, again, opening and closing. I cannot express this enough. Like, I think if there's anything that you're going to get out of this video, is that I'm going to tell you, make sure that you open and you close, right? That you enter and then you exit, and then when you exit, you close the door. The next way that you can potentially be opening portals is through plant medicines. So what I mean by plant medicines, I'm talking about and thinking about psychoactive medicines, right? So the psychoactive medicines are going to be your Mother Mary or cannabis. They're going to be your psilocybin mushrooms or magic mushrooms. They're going to be your ayahuascas. They're going to be your ibogas. They're going to be your San Pedro. They're going to be your peyote. They're going to be even the tobacco hape can potentially open portals for you. So what happens with these medicines? These medicines, right, they're really there to help you connect to the spirit of the plant. And these plants are what we call master teachers. And if you want to learn more about plant medicine and master teachers, make sure that you leave a comment below so I can create a video for that if you're interested. So anyway, when you are entering into connecting to these plant medicines, you are opening a portal of connect, because in order for this medicine to create that, of course, there's the biological connection that is creating within you when you are consuming. There's that chemical compound that, when is interacting with your physical body, there is a reaction, right? And then that reaction is going to be the psychoactive reaction. That's what we can explain at the physical level. But at the spiritual level, when that is happening, then you're also opening a portal of connection to that spirit, to that plant. Now, in animistic traditions, right, which is typically going to be your shamanic and Native American, or even or just natural sort of spiritual practices, right? When we are looking at these animistic practices or perceptions or perspectives of spirituality, we believe, right, that everything has a spirit, right? So all plants, everything in nature that you see has a spirit. And so the spirits of these plants, they're what they call a master plant, right? Or a teacher plant. And what does that mean is that these plants will connect with us and will have a conversation with us. telepathically in order to guide us and support us. Now, when we're setting an intention to connect with these plant medicines, depending on the intention of how we're connecting with them, they will protect us. They will support us when we are preparing to ingest them. For example, by going into a certain diet for a couple of days before we ingest. When we are treating them in a sacred way, they definitely make sure that you're protected. Typically, they will make sure that you're protected, and they will guide you in how much to consume, and also guide you in different ways for your own life, right? However, when we are using these plant medicines without any sort of regard to or respect towards them and honoring, that's the reason why there's all of these traditions behind these medicines in the first place, is because these plants have taught over generations all of these different curanderos and curanderas and shamans, right? To pay respect to the medicine and to make sure that the medicine is being used within reason, right? When we are stepping away from that and we're just using the medicine mindlessly, then the plant medicine will keep these portals open, and you could potentially have attachments coming through. And I wanted to zero in on this because I am a huge advocate of using mother cannabis and the niñitos sagrados, the psilocybin mushrooms, and I also respect so much Mama Ayahuasca. I definitely encourage people to experience these plants if they feel called to. However, what I do and discourage when it comes down to these medicines is to use them without being mindful of why we're using them. So when we're just using them just for fun, or just because we want to have an experience, and we're not going in humbly wanting to receive the teachings, wanting to receive the guidance that they are so happily and readily able to give us, then what happens is that these plants they don't get happy with, they're unhappy with us. And so then that protection that they usually will bring to you, if you're setting that intention to connect with them in that very loving and respectful way, they will not, because you're not respecting them. They definitely don't. It's a give and take here, right? So these spirits are not let's say they're very strict. Let's just say, I don't want to say strict, but they don't like to be misused, let's just say, in that way. And so if you are someone who's maybe feeling like there's a lot of attachments coming to you, maybe you're having like really strange dreams coming through, or anything like that, pay attention to what is it that you're doing. So far, are you someone who astral projects? Are you someone who meditates and doesn't create a space holding, sort of like a chanting before and after, an opening or a closing, right? Are you going into drum journeys by yourself without creating an opening and a closing? Are you going and connecting with plant medicines in a way that is not mindful, right? And it's not, it's just using it just for fun, or just to avoid life or escapism, right? Then you want to pay attention to that and say, okay, maybe I need to start cleaning up my practices, so that I don't have these experiences with these entities coming through. The last thing that can potentially be opening portals is when you practice readings, sort of like how I right now did a reading for myself, and I connected to the spirit of mushroom, and I was calling in, I was allowing that connection to the plant spirit to connect with me, and that I opened that portal, right? And so as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to close my portal, right? And so why is this happening? Anyone that's practicing mediumship, anyone that's practicing psychic work, anyone that's practicing going into the Akashic Records, anyone that is practicing any sort of opening the crown to receive more and channel, you are opening a portal. Now, portals are going to be different, right? They're going to be certain portals that are going to be very unique or very specific because you're setting that intention very specifically. There's going to be portals that are going to be wide open. They're going to be like all over the place, especially if you're not setting an intention and you're not being specific. So we want to be mindful, right, of how are we opening, right? So that's the reason why it's important to practice these things responsibly, right? We definitely, I am an advocate for everyone to connect to their crown and to their third eye. I'm an advocate for that because I believe that everyone should be getting the guidance that they need from within and from their own guides, from their own ancestors, and connect to their gifts, right? Because we all have our gifts. The thing is that I want to make sure that you're doing this responsibly. I don't want to invite things into I don't want you to invite things into your energy field that will then get you in trouble, and then you'll have to try to get rid of an entity that is just really difficult to get rid of, and then you're going to be stuck in a situation where you're going to be having difficulties even within this reality where these entities can potentially affect so much that you're going into this really strange warped reality where you don't know where up is up and down or whatever, right? And so I am advocating for you to connect, and I also advocate for you to make sure that you do this responsibly, that you open your portals safely, that you go in and you receive when you need to receive, and then go back and then come back and be able to keep everything cleared. Now, why is this also important for you to recognize, all these different ways that you can be opening your portals? Is because I have had experiences with clients who have come to me who have had difficulties with entities that come in and out, and some of the things that I have noticed that these clients were doing were all of these aspects. And then when we looked into possibly setting intentions and making sure that they were opening and closing their portals, that wasn't happening. And so when we leave a portal open, then it's like leaving a door open. Think about a portal being the door to your the front door to your house. You would not leave that front door open, right, for anyone just to come in. The same thing with your spiritual practices. When you're opening the door and to the channel to channel and to receive, right, you want to make sure that you're closing these doors and you're disconnecting from all of that so that you can have a healthy boundary between you and the spirit world. So I hope that this video was good for you, that you enjoyed it. If you want to work with me, I want to invite you to go into my website, thebloominglotushealing.com. I have classes, and I also am putting together mediumship circles as well as Akashic Record classes, just basic classes, so for people to learn. And of course, I will teach you different ways that you can open and close. Of course, we're always practicing safety in all of the classes that I teach. So please don't be scared, but make sure that you are practicing your spiritual expansion in a way that is safe and responsible. So thank you so much, everyone. I love you all, and namaste.